Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the new Doctor Who episode that came out last Saturday. So with the new series, we've got Doctor and Donna, David Tennant, I should say, and Donna back. And honestly, I'm so happy that it's been over a decade now since we last saw them. I've been over the moon about it. The actual episode, the Star Beast, that one, I would rate the episode like a solid 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's a decent episode. It has its flaws though, and one of the biggest ones is the new characters, and the main ones I'm going to be talking about are Rose and Donna's husband. I for the life of me, I cannot even remember the guy's name. He's the husband of Donna and the father of Rose, who is meant to be an integral and important character, and yet I can't remember the guy's name. I'm very sure they mentioned it maybe once or twice offhandedly in the episode, but they didn't focus on him barely at all, which is a surprise. I think it's a 50-minute episode, and they barely focused on the guy, which I feel like they should have given him more time. But in the third episode special, he's supposed to be coming back, but I doubt they're going to focus on him that much. I think they're going to be focusing more on Rose, but I'll get on a bit more into that later. But yeah, so the episode was good. I would not say that Doctor Who is back yet, because we've only had one episode. Honestly, we're going to have to see how the other specials do, if they are just as good or if they get better. I want to see what the overall quality of the new episodes is going to be. Then I'm going to make my judgment of whether Doctor Who is back, because honestly, after the Jodie Whittaker, I stopped watching. So I watched Doctor Who growing up as a child. I watched New Who. I'm 21 now. I watched that show growing up. I started watching when Matt Smith first came onto live TV, and I loved Matt Smith. Matt Smith is probably my favourite Doctor, followed by David Tennant. Yeah, and basically with the new episodes, I was over the moon for them. But when Jodie came along, I should say it wasn't necessarily a Jodie. It was when Peter Capaldi first came along, was when the show started to dip in quality. Some would say 7, but I like Series 7. I enjoy Series 7. But I would say Series 8, where Peter Capaldi came along, it was shit. I'm not going to lie, Series 8 and 9 was shit. It just, the writing was bad. Clara and Peter Capaldi, their characters did not mesh together very well. It just felt really awkward and stale between the two. It just did not work. Series 10, with Capaldi and Bill and Ardell, fucking amazing. I love that series. It was an amazing series. It felt like they had gotten back into more of a stride and able to write good episodes again. I really loved it, and I was actually happy because I'd been sitting through and enduring 2 seasons of crappy Doctor Who, and it finally paid off with that third series of Capaldi, where everything worked. I loved Bill. I love Nardal. I know people don't like Bill because every episode they brought up her sexuality. I didn't think it was too much, but I can understand why people get with that. But I love Bill, and I feel like she should have had more. I feel like she died way too early, and she deserved better. Honestly, I loved Bill so much. And then Jodie Whittaker came along, and I watched the first half of Jodie's first season. I stopped watching after that. It was unbearably bad. It was god awful. And I'm not saying Jodie herself was bad. It was just the writing was atrocious. My God. They could have not been more on the nose and more obvious with the politics they're pushing. They could not have been more boring villains with the tooth fairy monster, the fucking tiny little gremlin that eats metal, and giant spiders. How original. Who's fighting Trump. That was a particularly bad one. That's all I can remember from Jodie's episodes. And I stopped watching after that, and I've occasionally heard news about the Timeless Child and stuff, and I'm glad I didn't see that, because that probably would have killed me killed my spirit if I had watched that. Still haven't watched the rest of Jodie's to this day, but safe to say, my height I was cautiously optimistic coming to this episode, and I was glad to see that the episode wasn't shit, but it wasn't amazing. But I'm not here to talk about the episode as a whole, but rather one major issue with the episode. And like I mentioned earlier, that issue is Rose and Rose's father. And my issue with the characters is that they don't really have much going on with them. Because, now that David Tennant's back and Donna's back, it's like, yes, we have these original characters that I love, and I know them, and we've already got a pre-built personality and character going for them. So there doesn't need to be any more development of the characters. We've already got the characters. We just need to continue from where they are, pick up from where we were. And we've got original writers and directors back. So, the original people that made those characters. So we don't need to relearn the characters either. But now we're bringing in some new characters. Donna's husband, who we saw briefly in series 4 and the 5 specials at the end of Tennant's career as the Doctor. But we never got to meet the guy. Like, we just saw him in the background kissing Donna and being husband to Donna. And so this was an opportunity to develop his character, but his character in the special was, I'm the husband of Donna, I'm got a daughter of Donna, I'm so proud of Donna, and I'm so proud of my daughter, which is fine, that's nice, he's proud of his wife and daughter, which is great, but that's it. Other than he's a proud father and husband, there's nothing else to him. He does nothing else, and he just kind of runs around with them in the background. It's just there to fill the screen. He does nothing else. He serves zero other purpose, which is disappointing because it's like he has such an important relation to such important characters in the show. He should have more going on for him, but he doesn't. Like, I'll get a bit more onto it because I feel like they could really explore the character more with his relation to Donna and Rose. We already know how important Donna is, and Rose is supposed to be a very important character for the upcoming episodes of the specials that are coming up. And for such an integral character, he is kind of bare bones. Maybe they'll develop him more in the next episodes, but I highly doubt it. And the more bigger one is Rose herself. And with Rose, she has no personality. I am so sorry, but like in the episode, what do we learn about her? We learn that she makes toys for toddlers. She's Donna's daughter. Donna cares for her very much. And that she's trans. My God, do they focus on the fact she's trans? Like, I'll get back onto that in a second, but other than that, we don't know anything else about her. They make an offhand comment that she's trying to get into acting, but she's not very good. But they don't really show that in her personality or character. All they really focus on is her identity as a trans woman. And that's fine for a character to be trans, but it's like a character's sexuality is only part of their character. You can't just slap gay or trans or liberal or Republican onto a character and then expect people to love that character because you've got one label on the character. It's like they're one note. Rose is a one note character. Like in every single scene that she is in, they have to remind you that she's trans, which again is fine that she's trans, but she needs more to her. She needs more depth. And for Rose's father, or aka Donna's husband, he's not too important for the plot, but Rose is very important to the plot, and you cannot have a character be so one note or so bland for such an integral character to the plot. She needs depth, and she does not have that. And there are so many ways they could get to develop her more. Like, honestly, I do not care for Rose. I could care for Rose, but they don't do enough with her character to justify me liking her. There's nothing to her personality. So what could they do? I mean, the easiest and best way for an audience to get along with the character is for her relationship with Donna. Like, she's Donna's daughter, and other than Donna saying, "You're my daughter," we and I will do anything for you, we don't really see that mother-daughter relation. Like, we don't see them bickering, we don't see them arguing, we don't see them doing motherly daughterly things. Even before the action starts, we don't really see any of that, other than them just walking around together, being like, "Hello, daughter, hello, mother." There is not really much of a relationship between the two. I mean, there's that nice scene where Donna says, "I will bring hell and fury and everything down for you." That was nice. But we don't see Rose reciprocating anything back to Donna. Like, think about it. This is Donna's daughter. Imagine being raised by Donna, someone with that much sass, someone with that much energy, someone with that kind of attitude. Imagine having that kind of person as your mother. You would, you would definitely develop a strong personality with Donna as your mother, and it would have been brilliant to see like Rose become like, so because it's like Rose is a trans woman, so they were born a man and discovered that they were a woman. It would have been brilliant if we had like flashbacks or them referencing her growing up as a child, her growing up as a boy, and then as she gets older, he starts developing more and more traits that Donna has, like her being like getting all sassy with people. Like, instead of, there's a scene with the bullies. If instead of her being ignoring the bullies, it would have been brilliant if she had some of Donna's sass and clap back like them. Because we know Donna. If she's anything like Donna, Donna would have instantly clapped back, being like, "Who do you think you are, bike boy? If you think you are hard enough and try talking shit like that, I'll come and prove it then. You think, yeah. And it's just like clap back. That some verbal argumentative, have more of a spine, show that she's inherited something from Donna. That would have been a brilliant way for the audience to relate to her, and for a brilliant way to develop a character more. It would have given her personality, it would have been hilarious. Everyone would have loved it. I would have adored Rose instantaneously if they gave her one scene like that. But they didn't. They just focused on the identity politics of Rose and that she's just a trans woman. It's like, okay, you need to obviously come to, say she is a trans woman, and come to terms with that. They kind of show a little bit of that with Rose's grandmother, or Donna's mother, where she accidentally misgenders her slightly and is like unsure how to address her, which are common issues that parents and family members of trans people have. Because like, you've known this person as one thing their entire life, and then suddenly then something else. And it's like, and she's not being malicious about it, she's just trying to figure things out. And it's nice and sweet. And it's like, I feel like that was enough. They didn't need to shove the identity politics down their throat. That scene, maybe one other scene where they touch on it slightly, would have been perfect balance. And they did, and that one scene was so brilliant with how they wrote it, because it's not like, "Oh, I'm trans." No, it's showing actual issues that trans people and family of trans people have. And it's interesting and it's clever. That was a nice scene. But all the other scenes where they talk about Rose's identity are just, "I'm trans." That's it. I feel like I'm rambling a bit here. Like, this is unscripted and I'm just expressing my raw thoughts on the episode. But my point is that these characters need more depth, and there are so many ways, and they had so many opportunities where they could have done that, and it would have been brilliant. Because, like I mentioned, the daughter of Donna is such an interesting concept, and it would have been brilliant. Yeah, like another thing, it's like the husband of Donna. What kind of man would marry Donna? And it would have been brilliant if they paralleled that with the Runaway Bride. Because if you remember the Runaway Bride, Donna is all over the man, I can't remember the fella's name, that she's getting married to, that she's so infantilized with him that she proposes to him after 6 months. It would have been poetry if they talked about how Donna and her husband got married. Instead of Donna being all over the man, it would have been Donna's husband all over Donna, and he proposed to her after 6 months, and he kept on pestering her to get married. And eventually, and instead of it being a toxic relationship, the Donna reciprocates it and learns to love the man, and he could be a little bit dorky and quirky and just be like he kind of is in the show. He has a bit, he has more, well, in the few scenes that they show him, he has more personality than Rose does, which is saying a lot, considering they focus on her a lot in the episode. They could have explored their marriage and their relationship so much. They could have paralleled their marriage to how it could, instead of, they could have paralleled Donna's previous engagement, which was extremely toxic and one-sided, to her new marriage, which is more wholesome and well balanced and like something people want to strive for in a relationship. A healthy marriage. That could have been brilliant to show, but they don't. And it would have been lovely fan service. Like if they had met at work, they could have showed Donna buys him coffee at work instead of him buying her coffee. That would have been brilliant. But no, they just, he's Donna's husband, don't worry about it, don't ask questions, you don't need to know. These are integral characters and they need more depth, and they've just introduced them, and you need to sell them now. And they haven't. After the first episode, they have not sold them. They just seem like bland, generic characters with one or two labels or quirks, and it's not interesting. It's boring. And like in certain scenes, it just makes me roll my eyes with how bland and boring it is and how predictable it is with the writing. So all this to say is that the Rose and Rose's father are boring characters, and they really bring the episode down. And if they are to be important characters in the future, they need to up their game and the writing with them, because they have not solved them. They really have not. And I hope that the future of Doctor Who is not just going to be bland, generic characters in the future like we have right now with Rose and Rose's father. I wouldn't say it's a red flag for the future of the series, but it's more of a pink flag. It's something to take note of and be wary of, but it is not a complete disaster yet. With the new series, with the new Doctor, hopefully the companion, the new Doctor, will have more personality and more going for them. But I don't know, because these are new characters, and don't know if this is what they're capable as writers for creating new characters for Doctor Who. I am very concerned for the future of Doctor Who. But like I said at the beginning, overall, I would rate the Star Beast a solid 7 out of 10. Wasn't a masterpiece, but it wasn't awful. It was a decent episode of Doctor Who, and the next episode of Doctor Who looks like a nice spooky adventure in space with Doctor and Donna. Just what the Doctor ordered, a pun unintended. But yeah, I'm going to continue to be cautiously optimistic with the future of Doctor Who, but I hope that we don't have a repeat of generic characters like this, and that we have more personality and depth to them. Yeah, and that's all I really wanted to say on this subject so far. I may continue to talk about the future episodes as they come out, but I'll see if I care enough about it. But yeah, uh, thanks for tuning in.